Black Desert Online! I want to start this review off by saying it's not a horrible game, it's not even that bad of a game, but it is, however, completely unrealized. And what I mean by that is Black Desert Online has a lot of neat gameplay elements in it that are cool and all, but they're coded in a substance that one could only describe as, ew, get that shit out of here. I had to take a break about 3 hours into playing because too many systems and decisions of the game's design were frustrating me to the point where I would just be standing in the middle of town ranting to myself about the bullshit I'm trying to put up with. Why aren't I recording my rant right now? Ugh.
Dude, it's gotta be broken.
Well, I know that now because it broke the game and booted me out before. I want to make it really clear that I'm annoyed easily. I'm a very botherable person. So what bothered me about Black Desert might be complete non-issues for most, but that being said, I feel like a can be overlooked by the good perspective is a little irresponsible when recommending a game or not. Combat! It's fun. I love mobility. Moving around, avoiding attacks, and feeling like an untouchable badass, is super fun, and it never gets old. I played the Ranger class and found that its combos were both neat visually and viscerally. It just felt good to kick people's faces in. Fuck off, phone, you piece of shit. Something to be desired, however, is a bit more punishment for not avoiding and controlling mobs properly. They have an appropriate amount of HP, so it doesn't take forever to kill any one enemy, and it does throw a ton of guys at you at once, so you get to feel like an ultra badass kicking all their ass. But they don't do enough individual damage, and you're given literally hundreds of healing and mana potions that are usable every 4 seconds, so I found that I was dancing around and comboing enemies because it was fun, not because it was fun and effective. It definitely wasn't necessary. I know that I'm only in the early game and that maybe the game pushes you harder later, but this isn't a good thing. About 10 hours into the game, I should be feeling some challenge. Any challenge. That's the length of some smaller games. The game fairly early on should be showing you just how far the mechanics can be pushed by a skilled player and force you to get your shit together, as opposed to just letting you lollygag for what goes on to, I could only assume, be like 40 fucking hours before I actually hit a challenge. Bosses. To kind of demonstrate what I'm talking about here, maybe 10, 11 hours in, I found a boss fight that was particularly thrilling because it was the first time that my partner or I had actually died. I was left alone against this huge mob, having no clue how much health he had.
Train of thought, mental detour.
It's really cool how you have to kill a specific enemy a lot before you've learned enough about it to display how much health it has left. This adds an element of distress whenever you're fighting a new big foe like a boss, because as you're being pushed hard and you're close to dying, you have no clue if you're even close to killing this thing. Back to what I was saying, this fight was the first time that I wasn't just random dodging around and remembered that I was only allowed to dodge so often. This is what I wanted from the game. This was a taste of what was actually an interesting challenge that might be later in the game. But for this to happen for the first and only time, once again, about 10 hours in, the length of potentially an entire other game is far too late. I'm not convinced the intent was for this boss to be challenging. As far as the rest of the gameplay time can tell me, it was an accident that this fight was so engaging.
Lack of set pieces.
We've already mentioned how the combat was fun, but there's no cool encounters at interesting set pieces. How hard is it to put this boss in some cramped dark cave instead of just out in the field on a trade route? You summon the bosses, as far as I've experienced, with scrolls you get from the main quests, which I guess is a way of putting boss farming method into your inventory, which is a cool idea if it was a reward for beating him or something along those lines. Fight this guy anywhere now instead of having to run all the way to his uber cool set piece, the road. A fucking road? There was a point where I was climbing an incredibly tall tower and it was very cramped up there, I must say. And this was the quest directly before that cool boss I just mentioned. The quest reward was the scroll to summon him. Would it have killed you to make the fight up there, Black Desert? This would have been so cool. You made the set piece already. Now make it more memorable than, I guess that's pretty neat. Put the boss up there. Boom! Now you have this cramped space I was talking about before, trying to fight this massive thing, and you feel like there's nowhere to go but through this motherfucker. Instead, you summon him where? A road. Interesting. Coming into new settlements or towns, Black Desert makes quest collecting a mini game in itself. NPCs have conversation topics that are on their mind that you need relevant info about in order to converse with them at all. A small side menu shows you all the info that this particular NPC will talk to you about and gives you a clue as to what other NPC will give you said relevant info. This would be an excellent solution to how to get players to actually care about what an NPC is saying, and would be a window into the lore of the game world if it wasn't fucking mandatory. When you're first playing a new game, you want to consume the gameplay content, not the side story lore shit. That comes later when you actually give a shit about the game. How many of you, honestly, when coming into a new MMORPG specifically, are actually reading the NPC dialogue? Probably not many of you, past maybe the tutorial dialogues. MMOs are notoriously bad for dialogue apathy. I'm not pegging down Black Desert for that, but this mechanic behaves more like a frustrating barrier to progression rather than a world building tool if it was side content and rewarded the player in some way for their time. Holy shit, player housing! Black Desert Online has hands down the best player housing I've ever seen. Starter housing is cheap and it isn't even bought with money, but contribution points you get from questing. The tool to lay out your perfect little e-home is easy to use and it has a surprising amount of functionality. Of course, you can buy furniture from the microtransactions store in-game, but as far as I can tell, you're able to drop furniture and other knickknacks and paddywhacks from mobs as rewards for quests, or build them yourself, though I never got far enough in the game to actually get any of these furniture drops for myself. I did, however, explore a lot of people's houses to get a taste for the level of customization possible, and it was very expansive. Whoa, is this guy looking for cock or what? Jesus Christ, who? Oh my god. This guy's got the fucking oh my god, look how many beds he's got. Dude, he's not even looking for cock, he's looking for all of them. The map is fucking terrible. I don't even want to talk about it. So look, I'm looking at the map, and where we're standing, I'm like, oh, the marketplace is there. Look, there's like a coin symbol, and it calls it marketplace when I hover over it. And I'm like, oh, there's the marketplace. Cool. Now, running here and trying to get a closer look, I can't zoom in more than this, by the way. I turn the map, and guess what? It's just telling me this city has a marketplace.
Honey.
It's just telling me it has a marketplace.
Honey.
Fuck dicks. I feel like I'm in the 1700s sailing without modern navigational instruments, nor the training for the contemporary ones. Fuck this map. The game does look beautiful, however, and the animations are so damn crisp. But no matter how low I put the settings, the engine just has issues rendering the damn world, and it never stops loading and unloading textures inappropriately. It's not too distracting when you're going around killing stuff, but in town I can't see anything but the game's indecision for whether or not these blades of grass are gonna have shadows or not. Black Desert is a role player's game. The game throws functionality in the dirt for RP purposes constantly, and for someone like me, it's only a tool for frustration. There's no fast travel in the game as far as I can tell, and while mounts make those treks faster, it's slightly ruined by the necessity to bring them with you everywhere. You park your mount in the town stables while you go about your business questing and such, and if you want to drag its ass around with you all the while, be my guest. But for the most part, the mount is just slowing you down.
Can he make the jump? Nope. Nope, he can't make the jump.
Oh, alright.
Ground.
Where was he? I don't see him still.
I'm on him now.
Oh.
And he's taking 5 years to turn around.
Oh my god. Turn radius of an elephant on tranquilizers. Holy fuck. Unless you're just beelining it for the next town. I foolishly assumed that parking your mount in the stable at, let's say, town A, you'd be able to take it out at perhaps town C's stables that you ended up while questing or other, and now you want to ride back quickly to town A for whatever reason. But no, your mount is in town A's stables. You have to go all that way, walking back without him to pick him up. It was at this point I boycotted the entire mechanic due to the inconvenience and never saw my donkey orange peels again. Now I get it, Black Desert. How would your mount magically appear at a different stable than the one you left it at? Maybe the same way your shit just magically skips over to the next town in your bank, or when you just happen to be able to pick up your money or items at any marketplace. We trade form for functionality sometimes, people. Black Desert Online will be a fun experience for most, I think. I had a mess of a time with it and felt the game was constantly getting in the way of letting me do the things I wanted to do, which was kill stuff. But if stuff looking and feeling cool is your bag, then this game has you covered. Wow, you made it this far. Did you agree with some of my thoughts on the game or not? So or not so, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and bye.